Has there been any quantification of what it will cost to bring green jobs to Atewa?
In fact, the cost of green jobs is very relative, depending upon the pathways. There are a lot of them that would virtually cost nothing. To establish, say, an emission reduction program for the landscape, we already have an existing Ghana Red Plus program. We can just nest the Atewa landscape in that, and that will cost government nothing.
And what will it earn government?
Yes.
What will it earn?
There's a lot of money coming out within the carbon sector. If you look at the World Bank, they are now issuing out green funds. There's a green bond coming from AFDB. There are a couple of private sector players who are buying certified carbon credits. And if we can have a Tiwa landscape certified by private individuals, and there are bodies that do this certification, once that is done, government can trade carbons from Atewa for very large funds.
Give us an idea. Any idea?
Of course, there are countries that are benefiting from this. In Kenya, they have been able to raise. In the last report that I read from the World Bank country report, they raised almost $200 million just for a carbon fund. These are things that are very feasible. And when you look at the landscape, and when you look at even an example from Kenya, it's on a very smaller scale. There have been a lot of examples. In fact, Ethiopia is the leader when it comes to trading carbon credit in larger quantity. And given the landscape of Ethiopia, that is the only feasible option. And today, a lot of the green funds are directed towards Ethiopia because they do have the structures. And we feel that Atewa can be another model for West Africa, which is currently non-existent.
So, why is it that bauxite has been pitted against conservation in this case? Is it because we lack the capacity in terms of human resources and training to have seen the real options?
There is a multiple of factors. If you look at the bauxite landscape, countries that have relied on bauxite for their financial gains, even in the past. Ghana, we can even use ourselves as an example. The Awaso bauxite. It's been there for decades, probably before some of us were born. Absolutely, there is nothing happening in Awaso. The village is in misery when you get to Awaso. And the whole bauxite concession is about excavating soil. So you would destroy the landscape, you would destroy people's livelihood. And sometimes we don't even have a commensurating livelihood options for these people. And we believe that, look, there are a lot of alternatives, but the knowledge does exist. But it's sometimes the political will. Is the political will. There are several ways we can generate money from Atewa. For the past 3 months, I've had opportunity to go on a study tour in Kigali. The Akagera National Park is one good example where they are being supported by African Park. The park is currently generating almost $1.3 million annually. A park that was generating less than 200,000. We should have a conscious of what we should have a plan. We can't simply just rely on bauxite. Bauxite is not sustainable. The method of even excavating destroyed the entire landscape. Look at where Atewa hinges, supplying water to over 4 million people. We simply cannot take that option. And that is why EU and other development partners are exploring other alternatives, other smart jobs, so that we don't embed all our eggs in just bauxite.
But can we really trust the EU, an institution that represents the powers that have in the past thwarted our efforts at industrialization? Are we not being idealistic and also ahistorical in not realizing that we need to industrialize? And China has done it. It has it has had an environmental cost, but maybe that's the price we have to pay for development.
It's a very difficult situation. The European Union has their own interests. Today, when we talk about global climate change, it's a global phenomenon. Somebody sitting in Brussels can necessarily have a production system in China affecting the livelihood of such a person. We at the global south are at the receiving end. And we believe that, look, in as much as EU might have their own interests, we believe that the crusade towards driving towards changes in terms of the way we manage and exploit our resources is the right way to go. The global phenomenon, if you look at the cost of climate change and environmental degradation to Ghana's GDP, it's about 6.3 billion annually, which is almost around close to 6 to 11% of our GDP. And that is significant. So if we can reduce environmental degradation, we can reduce all the infractions related to cutting down of trees, we will improve our own GDP. Of course, these are numbers, and numbers don't lie. We simply cannot toe the idea of let's go and mine, let's go and mine. How much have we gained from our gold resources? Any resources that Ghana has ever had? Absolutely zero. It's all being run by foreigners. We believe that, look, let's be very conscious. And look, I've often used the city of Kigali and Rwanda as a country as an example. Look, government has committed $4.5 million annually towards development of wetland and sustainable forest. Rwanda has no primary forest. Today, it is one of the most forested countries in Africa. You visit there, and trust me, you would want to be in Kigali. You would want to be there. Look, the narratives need to change. It's not about having the West and the global South politics. We can talk about it, but trust me, we are talking about reality. Climate change is real.